night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough.
Well, hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Mike Files. It is 1:15 a.m. Sorry, that took me a while. There's a lot of information going on out there. A lot of things happening today, you know what I mean? Or yesterday, I should say. But we'll just take a quick walk through, about what's happening today. We got Fauci announces his resignation as of December. I think the dude needs to just bounce. Just get the fuck out of there. He initially said he'd resign after Biden's term was over, but now he's out. So Dr. Science is leaving. Dr. Tony Fauci, Saint Fauci, as some people referred to him, which I didn't really understand that. He's hardly a saint. I mean, as far as I know, saints don't lie, do they? I don't know. Somebody who's Catholic out there, give me a shout on that. I don't know much about the saints. But he sure was good at lying. I guess that's part of, I mean, the dude, with the talking about the jabs and everything, you know what I mean? He had all four. Uncle Creepy had all four. He got it twice. That dipshit, Stephen Colbert, he got it, twice in 3 weeks? After doing his little dance and everything, he did his little jab dance. That idiot. I mean, I swear to God, the guy used to be funny. He just, I mean, the thing is too, is he's a little fucking sissy, and you just want to punch him in the face. And he gets up there and he's one of these guys, he's phone tough, right? Like he can sit there and dance around on stage and talk all kinds of shit. And he did his whole Christmas thing on the day that they raided Mar-a-Lago. I thought it was his Christmas present. Okay, well, I guess you're easy to shop for, you dumbass. Why don't you go get some more Rona, fucking idiot? Get jabbed up again, Get your 17th fucking jab, fucking morons. I mean, everybody's, like they said, everybody's going to get it regardless. So Fauci got it, Slow-Mo got it. Slow-Mo's wife got it. I mean, who else is on the list goes on. And here's a good one. Albert Bourla, if I'm pronouncing that right, the CEO of Pfizer. It was like 8 days ago he announced he had it. Now, this is what crazy. You get on YouTube and you type that up, or even like you Google it, it doesn't come up. It's kind of weird that they suppress this type of information, right? Like, it's real hard to find out what's up with Uncle Creepy, where he's sniffing hair at right now. I don't know. I mean, he flies in on our dime on that jet airliner that costs us God knows what. Walks in, signs the what I've coined as the Inflation Act. They've also called it the Chips and Science Act because $364 billion, I believe, allegedly, I think that's the number, that's off the top of my head, is allocated to electric vehicles and the study of renewable energy. And there's $80 billion in there for 87,000 new IRS agents. $80 billion for 87,000 agents. Now, we've already seen the weaponization of the DOJ through the FBI with what they pulled off down there in Florida. I mean, they'd already taken Trump already let him into that room. He's like, take whatever you want. Go ahead. He said, release the records. Go ahead. And then they show up with 30 agents, armed agents. All they did was ask him to put another lock on that door. which he did. They show up with 30 agents. They go through his wife's wardrobe. They come up with a warrant that is just all-encompassing, totally against the Fourth Amendment. A warrant has got to be specified. They have to specify what they're looking for and where they're looking for it. Now, there could be consequential things that happen, say, depending on the type of warrant and, what they're looking for. I mean, if they come in and they're, they want to, it says they want to search a safe in your basement because they think there's drugs, and they walk in and you got a pile of cocaine sitting on the fucking coffee table, then, hey, you're number one, not very smart, and number two, they can do whatever they want with that. But this thing, just out of hand. And then you look at the mainstream media, and it's changed time and time again. He had nuclear information, nuclear evidence. He was going to sell them. Are you kidding me? Trump, who's he going to sell them to? He was. They're like, oh, that Michael Cohen, that jerk off, that was. I think he's one of his attorneys. He's a felon, which nothing against felons, but if you're an attorney and you're a felon, I got a different feeling about you. I mean, I trust the ex-con more than most people, but if you're an attorney ex-con, then nah, not really. I mean, this cat just writes a book or whatever. He's sitting out there trying to bolster his book sales, because who the fuck wants to buy a book about Michael Cohen wrote, the Michael Cohen biography? People want to read that about as much as they want to read the fucking Michael File fucking biography. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. I mean, the dude is, I saw him earlier. He's up there yelling about how Trump would, take the information and sell it to Iran. Okay, well, Trump pulled us out of the Iranian nuclear deal, which Biden has put us right back in. Trump leveled tariffs on China, was hard on China. He was hard on Russia too. Everybody's talking, these idiots are still on this Russian collusion shit. I mean, come on, it's been debunked. I mean, fucking Aaron Monte won fucking journalism awards for his coverage of it. Jimmy Dore was calling it from day one. Max Blumenthal, same thing. There was only a handful out there that were brave and courageous enough to say this is bullshit. And yet you've still got the likes of that fucking Rachel Maddow and these dipshits on MSDNC, that fucking, what's his name? Fucking Scarborough, and then there's that other fucking doofy looking little fucking weirdo that, oh, well, the only thing the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. They just don't want the dude to run, Bottom line, that's it. They don't want the dude to run. They're terrified because they don't got anybody that is going to stand up to him. They pissed him off now to the point. I mean, come on. What kind of shape is Biden going to be in? Where is Biden? Where is he at? No one's seen him. He comes in, he signs this stupid fucking act, okay? And then their justification is that over 10 years it's going to reduce the deficit by $300 billion. Our deficit is $30 trillion fucking dollars. What's $300 billion? If you wanted to reduce it by $300 billion, then just put the $300 billion at it. Or take the $780 billion that you allocated on this bill, and why don't you just throw that at it? Throwing $300 billion at a $30 trillion debt, and what's it going to be in 10 years? 40? It just keeps going up exponentially, folks, because that's the system we live in. Without the debt, we have no money, and it just has to keep going up and up and up, and they have to keep printing more, not printing. They have to keep pulling money out of, it's just a computer is all it is. There's somebody at the Federal Reserve that sits there and goes, and they send it to the banks. They send it to Wall Street. They send it to whatever special interest groups they're sending it to, whether it be for Pakistani gender studies or Israeli intercontinental ballistic missile systems or, the Greek military. But yet you can't take $20 billion of that and throw it at the homeless problem? Well, no, we can't. We can't do that. Got to have somebody to steal blankets from and kick around. And why would we want the homeless to have a roof over their head? Why would we want American citizens to have any kind of a chance or an opportunity? We don't want that. No, 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 no. Let's allocate this money and we'll send it to the Department of Defense. They can, in return, send it over to Raytheon or Lockheed Martin, Grumman, Halliburton. I mean, Dick Cheney reared his ugly head recently with his cowboy hat and his snarl to talk about his daughter's abysmal performance in the election here in Wyoming. And from insider information that I got from Jackson Hole, Cheney allegedly said that she didn't really give a shit about this election. And I think that's true. And I've been saying that for a while, this is all by design with her. And I'm using BCP's saying, he says that all the time. So I'm giving you your props there, BCP. I'm not trying to steal your phrase or coin it, but you're right. I mean, all this stuff is by design. I think Cheney was, she was put up to this nonsense with the J6 committee. And I think she's going to just be part of the revolving door. That's my prediction. We'll see what happens. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'll come out and say I'm wrong. But I believe that there's a position opening up for her in one of those military-industrial complex corporations that make bombs for brown people, right? Or we just give them all to Zelensky. What's happened with that? You don't see anything about that. What's going on with that now, huh? Nothing. Zelensky talks all kinds of crazy shit, and but it's kind of just gone by the wayside at this point. Like, no one says a thing about it. What's happening at the southern border of this country? Who? Nobody knows. It's kind of weird that all that heat was put on Pelosi for her trip, right? Kind of weird that she takes her son, Paul Pelosi Jr., with her. He's being investigated for his involvement in 5 different corporations. And every stop that they made on that Asia trip happened to be a place where one of those corporations were located. Kind of weird that the act that was signed into law was also called the Chips and Science Act. And what was part of that? Oh, yeah. The chips, right? We need those for the electric vehicles, right? So what's the deal there? Did Pelosi go there to provoke China into taking over Taiwan and then, we're not going to get our chips? I mean, there's such a big difference between the mentality in China and the mentalities here. I mean, we have the First Amendment, but it is eroding. I mean, it's eroding big time. I mean, you can't say what you want to say. Like there's things I can't say here unless I want to get shut down again. And I really don't care. I mean, if it comes down to it and I got to say it, I got to say it. But the thing is, I never got any apology, YouTube. Where's my apology for getting banned for 3 fucking weeks for things that I said that turned out to be true? No email saying, we're sorry. Just, that's all you got to do, YouTube. Just, we're sorry. A little something like that? No. They just ban people. They demonetize guys like Jackson Hinkle, a young man, 22 years old, doing a great show. Great show. The production value is great. His insight is great. He's a very intelligent, smart dude. He's been one that's covered this Ukraine thing better than anybody. The other dude, Tate, that he's been basically thrown off the internet for some bullshit, because they don't like what he's saying. I mean, he's come out and said that Putin did what he had to do. I mean, when promises are made and then they're broken, and you do that with powerful men in powerful countries, there's going to be ramifications from that. A guy like Putin is not going to sit back and just let you. I mean, the dude's ex-KGB, for fuck's sake. He's not going to sit back and just let any organization run over him. I mean, and to me, that's being a man. You know what I mean? And that's what, I mean, he might be reckless and, I mean, I don't agree with what's gone on in Ukraine, but then again, I don't really know what's gone on in Ukraine. Nobody really. 84% of this country didn't even know where that country was when this shit kicked off, and now it's just gone by the wayside, just like everything does. It always does. The media just twists it and turns things, and they just move things to just go away, right? I mean, just, how many billions have we given Ukraine? I mean, we've run ourselves out of these weapons that we supposedly need. Yet we still have over 500,000 people on the streets. And I honestly believe that's a low number. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying one way or another. That's my opinion. But I would say that there's I would say that most people that are homeless, I don't know how they get a count on that. How do you count the homeless? You're talking about people that have fallen completely off the grid, people that are living in tents. It's not like the Census Bureau can just send them a fucking letter. And I guarantee they're not sending people out there to Skid Row and shit to walk through and fucking count motherfuckers. And you're not going to be able to count them all anyways. Who's going to volunteer to go stick their heads in tents and shit in some of these places where people are shitting on the streets? Nah. We don't even know that number, would be my guess. Allegedly. My guess. That's just me making a guess. I'm not citing any fucking numbers. The official number it's around 550,000 people. And to me, I see that as low. It's just like when they talk about, unemployment rates. Well, after you've been unemployed for so long, you're off the radar. Like you're not even being considered. So not only do you have all those people, these numbers are crazy. The way that they come up, it's always to manipulate one thing or another. They talk about how many jobs and blah, blah, blah. And then, Onion Head comes out and says 0 for July with this creepy whisper voice. Where is he? Anybody? I tried to look it up earlier. Nothing. Nothing at all. So let's go back to old Dr. Science. All right. So he said he's leaving in December. And I just want to look at a little bit of a timeline here. Let's go back to February of 2020. Okay. No masks. He gets on there and says, there's no reason for anybody to wear a mask because it's just don't worry about it. Come to find out, he made that declaration because we were running out of the N95s. Which, mind you, in my profession with what I do, I know the pore size of those masks and I know the size of the virus, okay? Sure, you wear one, you sneeze, it's going to knock it down. You touch the mask, though, it's on there. It's on your hands. It's on everything. You walk around with the thing down around your nose like everybody does. No bueno. Sorry. Anyway, he tells everybody, don't worry about it because he's worried about the hospitals running out. Well, maybe if you had people wearing the things and you thought it actually did something, then you keep them from going to the hospital, and then you're not putting the medical staff in jeopardy, in harm's way as much, right? Maybe? I don't know. Makes sense, right? I mean, when you're talking about a country with 340 million people, and I'm not sure about numbers on, hospital staffs nationwide. I don't know that number, but it's obviously significantly smaller than the population. So if the population is wearing masks, then that means there's less going into the hospitals, right? And we don't have the ability to make N95 masks. I mean, quite frankly, the only thing that really, as far as a mask goes, and one of these, I should go grab one. One of my respirators would do the trick. But the thing is you have to be completely clean shaven and you have to keep it on. That's the only thing that would have worked. That's it. And I saw some cats at the time wearing, a full-on, 3M or North particulate respirator. I saw some cats at Walmart wearing those things. But the funny thing was is they weren't clean shaven. These guys with beards and shit. It's like, what the heck? Come on, man. You can't do that. So anyway, Fauci's he's gonna bounce, and the dude's 80 years old, but the feds they've never had. I mean, I was locked up with some dudes that were that old. They got no problem with throwing somebody that's 80 years old in there. Throw him in. You know, he got the Rona after all that shit. Crazy, huh? Crazy, wild shit. You know, I mean, it's hard to believe. It's stranger than fiction. And then the Pfizer guy. You know, what was that guy? A veterinarian before he became the CEO of Pfizer? I think he was a vet. Nah. Then he comes out and says he's thankful for the vaccines, even though he's got the fucking Rona. You know? I mean, how bad we've been duped on this shit. How much money? You know, they're still making, what, $400,000 a month on the, what do you call it? Paxlovid, whatever the medication is. And I tell you what, you get on YouTube and you type up Albert Bourla, nothing. It comes up with shit from, I think the most recent stuff from him is like 2 months back. And it was 8 days ago that he came out and said he was positive. Joe Biden supposedly got it, allegedly. And they're allegedly in South Carolina. I mean, the way Biden been walking around kind of makes you wonder, what are they doing? Are they hiding him out? Are they hiding him out again like they did before the election, where he sat down there in that basement for 50 days? What are they doing? What's going on here? The guy comes in, signs this stupid-ass bill that makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Manchin, they get Manchin to jump on board. Now, Manchin's been against this stuff. He's been voting like a Republican the whole time. And then all of a sudden, he's on this. He's coming out and talking about, and then he comes out and he has to say, well, this is not going to have any kind of an immediate effect on anybody right now. Well, then why are we coming up with another $780 billion that doesn't exist? Oh, yeah, fractional reserve bank. We got to keep that debt rolling, right? Yeah, oh, yeah. If we don't keep the debt rolling by fabricating this phony fiat currency that doesn't exist, then what are we going to do? You know, maybe it's time that we let the whole goddamn thing crash. You know? I'm just saying. It's going to happen. I mean, sometimes you just got to rip that Band-Aid off. I mean, that's my point of view. I think things would be a lot better without it. And on top of that, you've got Russian currency. It's the best performing currency right now in the world. The yuan, that's how you pronounce it, from the Chinese currency, yuan. You know, they're making agreements with Russia. Excuse me. You've got the real in Brazil. I mean, people, they're going off they're bouncing off of the U.S. dollar. Countries are bouncing off the U.S. dollar. They're saying enough. I mean, and this is a cycle. It's about a 500-year cycle. In our case, I think we've gotten there like halfway through that. So we've done really good at fucking this all up. But if you look back in time, you know, you've got the guilder, right? The Dutch currency, okay? So, you know, you go back, 1,000 years, whatever, you got the Dutch, right? You know, the Dutch trading company, you know, they're the first to go sailing around and doing international trade, you know, going down to China, hitting Africa, the slave trade, you know, then they fall off, and then you got the British and the pound, okay? So then they're running the show. And then here we come, America, United States, the dollar. I want to say, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say it was like 1944 that there was an agreement. It was like a world, you know, like you have, after wars, you have world orders, right? That come into play. And so in 44, I believe it was decided in a sit down globally that the dollar would be the unit of the monetary instrument for trade, basically. It was kind of like the start of the petrodollar. Of course, and then in 1971, Nixon takes us off the off the gold standard, right? But that's not the first time that happened, though. See, it happened with FDR, because I believe it was 1933 he passed the Emergency Banking Act, and so this has happened a number of times. And the crazy thing was, in 71 when it happened, what would you think would happen when we go off the gold standard, right? You'd think that the stock market would tank, but it didn't. It went up. And like, but then it did go bad. And we ended up with that really bad inflation. And then here we are again, 40 years later. Here we are again, spending more money than our butts can cash. We've just gone through a almost 3 year pandemic. What was it? March 13th of 2020 was the day, I believe, that they sent the kids home from school. And here we are, heading up on, it's been 2.5 years, I guess. I mean, the economy is tanked. It's tanked. Inflation is ridiculous. They want to say this, 9.1% or whatever. No, it's about twice that. And that's being nice. That's being nice. Everybody's happy. Fuel's down to, $4.50 a gallon. That Biden boy. Oh, his administration. Yeah, they brought the price down. Look at the Germany. Germany's about to have some real tough times, and the Germans are not happy. I mean, just because they want to, do this sanction thing with Russia. I mean, the Germans are going to be in for a rough winter. We're going to be in for a rough winter. I'm not looking forward to it. Not at all. And then we play like the answer to these games is electric vehicles. What about people that have to fucking move and tow shit? I need a diesel truck. You gonna come up with a smart car that's gonna tow my fucking trailer around? Huh. No, you're not. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Oh yeah, let me just let me put my 32, my 28, my 24, my 16 foot, my 10 foot step, my 8 foot step, 6, 4, and my scaffolding. I'll just put that all on my smart car. And what? Watch it crumble? Come on. And the thing is you're still using fossil fuels, because guess where the electricity comes from? It comes from coal and natural gas. About 3% comes from wind and solar. We don't have the tech. Hey, I'm all for it. You come up with a way. You come up with some green energy. Sure, great. How much do you think just burped out of that volcano over there in Iceland? How many greenhouse gases? They obviously don't give a shit about greenhouse gases anyways, because Biden and these fucking people, they fly all over the fucking place in private jets. John Kerry's got his own. Who the fuck needs John Kerry in a private jet? That fucking horseface can get on a goddamn Southwest flight for all I'm fucking concerned. Or keep his ass here. There's nothing that can't be done overseas without, just using Zoom. You can use Zoom. You can use Google Meet. You can do any number of things. I can get in touch with anybody with the technology I have here, and I'm an idiot. I mean, I can get anybody, I can send anybody a stream key, and if they have a webcam, even a fucking cell phone, and we can sit here and talk. And I'm a moron, right? I'm Cro-Magnon. We're talking about the president. You don't think there's technology? And then the stupid fucker gets on Zoom meetings, and he's got a fucking mask on, like a dipshit. What the fuck's he doing? What's he worried about? Does he think you can... He probably thinks that you can throw COVID out there through the fucking computer. Who knows? It's not the first time he's done it either. He's done it repeatedly, And then you see him, he gets off that plane over there in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And he comes walking out on the. He's got to be terrified of that goddamn ramp on Air Force One. That's got. Maybe not though. That dude's so he's half. He's absolutely silly. But then he's arrogant too. He's got this arrogance, that angry old man arrogance. Like he's up here and everybody else is down here. The way he talks to media. Like when he called Peter Ducey a stupid son of a bitch on the hot mic. I still think Ducey should write a fucking book called Stupid Son of a Bitch. I think that'd be one worth reading. Not Michael Cohen's horse shit. Who wants to read about that fucking guy? Who even puts a microphone in front of that dude? It's just like putting a mic in front of Peter Strzok. Who did that? The dude got fired. Completely unethical. Cheating on his wife with a coworker and the things that were said with those text messages and stuff, he gets fired, and then all of a sudden he's a voice of reason in the whole Trump thing. Who listens to what Peter Strzok has to say? It'd be like listening to fucking Jim Comey or fucking McCabe. I mean, the FBI has been proving itself to be less than trustworthy. The same agents that were involved in the whole Russiagate, with the FISA warrant on Carter Page, with the Steele dossier, the motherfuckers that greenlit that shit, they were the ones that were down there in Florida. And then they want to get on MSNBC. I see they get all upset because names have been dropped. Well, one of them was fucking the guy who wrote a book, and it's straight up come out and said that he doesn't give a shit. How about Sam Harris? Shit he said. Sam Harris came out and said that at the time, in 2019, before the election, regardless of the laptop, he said, had they found the corpses of children in Hunter Biden's basement, it still wouldn't have changed his mind. That's some pretty fucked up shit to say, Sam Harris. Dude, I always thought of you as being a pretty fucking level-headed, intellectual type cat, but dude, I guess not, man. I guess you're just a fucking jackass, man. I mean, I did have respect for the dude. I mean, I listened to him all the time. I listened to him on Lex, listened to him on Joe Rogan. I mean, the dude seemed like he was fairly intellectual cat with a level head on his shoulders, but I guess he suffers from the, what do they call it? TDS, the Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, what's it matter anyways? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in there. It's not going to make a difference. I think Trump made some differences, I mean, you look back on it. I mean, who looks back on it and thinks that who could honestly look back and say that, they think that things wouldn't be better, right? You don't even have to be a supporter. I'm not a big supporter, I mean, I don't vote, but I mean, my opinions were certainly different. I mean, I wouldn't have voted for the guy in 2016. I mean, in 2020, I was about Tulsi Gabbard. I wish she'd throw her hat in the ring for this next one. And not as a Democrat, as a third party candidate, because that's what we need is a third party. I mean, honestly, if we're going to do this political bullshit, if this is what we're going to do, then we need to have a third party. The People's Party, okay, great. The thing is though, I've contacted them and nothing back. It's like the same thing. They just want your money or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Nick Brana. I mean, I would have thought that somebody with that party would have gotten back. Maybe they were like, oh, he's a felon, he can't vote, so, well, maybe change that. I mean, like I've said, I feel like if you're convicted of a felony, you do your time, you do your probation, you jump through the hoops, you repay society for your mistake. Why can't you have your rights back? And I think what that comes down to is, and this is my opinion on it, but I think that comes down to a racist thing. Yeah, so what? I'm a white dude that has a felony, but guess what? Who do you think they don't want to have their rights? Same people that they've never wanted to have their rights. Anybody ever heard of the number of 3/5? What in the fucking world is 3/5? Anybody know? That's a fraction that I've only heard used, I think, maybe one time. It's not a fraction on a tape measure. It's not a fraction anywhere in carpentry. I don't know that I've ever used that fraction for anything in architecture, building, nothing. AutoCAD, no. 3/5. Who came up with that? Do some homework. Have to look into that one and see, right? So we've got a weaponized DOJ, right? We've got Merrick Garland. Now, see, I don't believe in coincidence, and I gotta say this too. I don't believe in coincidence. I think there's anomalies, right? There'd be an occasional anomaly that happens. Someone's like, well, that's weird. But coincidence? Nah. Maybe one, right? But you don't have them just roll out. So you look at the timeline, okay, what day did Pelosi get back, right, from her little trip with Paul Jr.? I believe she returned on August 5th, okay? Merrick Garland had been sitting on that paperwork to do the approval for the Mar-a-Lago warrant, right? They said for weeks. Weeks. What's weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? 6 weeks? 12 weeks? How long? This has been going on for some time, this whole thing. The timeline on this deal with Trump has been going on. I mean, he went in and told them. We went and told the FBI, he's like, whatever you want, come get it. They said, put another lock on the door. That's it. What was that all about? Pelosi goes flying over to Asia, upsets the whole apple cart, right? China's pissed. Everyone's mad. She comes back, with her fucking horseshoe eyebrows. Jesus Christ. Who pinned those things up there? He must have used a fucking 18 gauge fucking crown stapler or something on that, Pin those fucking things up there. Jesus Christ, she's a goofy looking fucking... I saw a picture of her the other day when she was like 20 years old with JFK. It's kind of bizarre seeing her at that point in time. It's like, whoa. So she gets back on the 5th. Merrick Garland decides to put in the warrant approval with federal judge Bruce Reinhardt. Now, this is all off the top of my head here. On the 8th. Reinhardt donated money to Obama. He donated money to Jeb Bush. He recused himself from the civil case that the Trump legal team filed against Hillary Clinton for the bullshit that went on for his whole presidency and the Steele dossier that that the DNC paid for with Christopher Steele, the ex-British intelligence that came up with the whole thing about the P tapes, and which, I mean, really? I mean, the son of the president now is a crackhead that wanders around naked with a gun that he obtained illegally. I mean, and like I've said, I kind of feel bad for that dude, Hunter Biden. I think he got put in a bad position, I mean, it seems like he's kind of been used by his uncle and by his father. Like, oh, you got the name, you can go get these side hustles going and pay the family, you know what I mean? And he's kind of alluded to that a number of times as well, talking about paying phone bills. And then you see the emails talking about make sure and hold 10% for the big guy. Bob Alinsky came out and said who the big guy was. Bob Alinsky's got a pretty much impeccable reputation other than getting involved with them. I don't know how that managed to, him and that other fool that, the one went to prison. What's his name? I have to look him up. Was it Devin? I want to say Devin Walker, but that could be wrong. If I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus here. If your name's Devin Walker, I think that was the guy's name. I mean, so, you got that. Dude signs this thing. Now we're going to have a weaponized IRS. That's just what we need. A bunch of accountants with guns. Somebody's going to end up getting shot and killed over a fucking W-2. You got Amazon doesn't even pay taxes. But you and me, we're going to get hassled, you know. And this is going to reduce the deficit by $300 billion. Why not just throw $300 billion at it, right? We got $780 billion that we can throw at this stupid bill. Why not just throw 300 at the fucking deficit today? If we got it, why not do it? No, we got to do it in this roundabout, clandestine, fucking stupid, hokey fucking way. You know, nothing straight up with these people. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about any of us. Straight up. The sooner y'all realize that, the better off we're going to be. And it's a reason to just not even vote. Just refuse to participate. That's why I put hashtag walk away on everything. Everything I put out there. You know? I mean, that's what until we do that, I don't see any change. You can sit there and you can vote for change because every election, it's going to be the same thing. It's just a high school city or a high school student council election is just a microcosm of a national election. It's the same thing. The guy getting up there saying that there's going to be soda machines everywhere and the food's going to get better and classes are going to have longer breaks between classes and we're going to extend lunch hour. But he didn't got no say in it. That's what the president does. That's what all these people do. They get up there and they make phony fucking bullshit promises. And everybody wave the flag around, they're put different yard signs out front. Ooh. And then we hate each other because of our yard signs. And we don't even understand that just because the guy at 2 houses up, he's got he's got a blue sign, you got a red sign or whatever. You got magenta and he's got chartreuse. I don't give a shit, whatever. I mean, who cares about the mascots either? I mean, you got donkeys and elephants. You could have, lions and, fucking 3-toed sloths. But then we're going to fight with each other. We're going to be divided. We're going to hate it. You pull up behind somebody, you see their bumper sticker on their car and go, hey, fucking motherfucker. Liberal, libtard son of a bitch, neocon, Nazi motherfucker. I mean, we've got these terms for everybody and we don't even know them. But because of the color of your hat or your yard sign or your bumper sticker, that's done on purpose. And don't you think it's fucking stupid? I mean, that asshole that was that James Carville or whatever his name comes out and basically says the other day that people in Wyoming are a bunch of fucking idiots because they don't reelect a warmongering fucking shitbird like Liz Cheney. I don't think so. I do not think so. I mean, the fact that come on, look at that family. For one thing, she was born in Wisconsin. She lives in Virginia. How in the hell did they? I mean, I don't know what she did to get residency in Wyoming. Her dad probably pulled the strings on that. I don't even know where that old fucker lives. I was surprised to even see he was still kicking. Mr. fucking shoot people in the face and then make them apologize to you. I still haven't seen that movie Vice. I should watch it because Christian Bale's such a great character actor, Yells at his, yells at the stagehand or the people on the scene and shit. Oh, God. Takes himself so seriously. You're a liar, dude. That's all you are. You're a liar. You lie for a living. It's just like that. What's that one fucker's name? Daniel Day-Lewis. He's the same way, apparently. He goes into character and he doesn't come out. They said, like in that movie, There Will Be Blood, which was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It was a good movie. It was kind of fucking creepy, but it was good. But they said he was that dude, like, the whole time. Like, offset, onset, wherever. That's who he was. They said he does that with most of his roles. And then, who's another one like that? Oh, they say Eric Stoltz is the same way. And we take these people and we put them up on a pedestal. Because they lie for a living. They go to Hollywood and they go on a movie set and they tell lies. They're really good at lying. Because they're just acting like somebody else. I mean, to me, that's a little bit sociopathic. I don't know. I think I'd have a hard time being somebody else. Wouldn't you? Is that why it's worth so much money? or to go and shoot somebody. Coming up on almost a year since Alec Baldwin pulled his little maneuver. Sorry, I'm thirsty. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. We definitely need something to change, though. But looking at this way the way this whole thing played out with the Trumpy thing and Pelosi coming back. I mean, she comes back on the 5th, right? So you figure she probably got back probably in nighttime. I don't know the exact time of arrival. Stupid phone. I'll turn this goddamn thing off. I didn't even realize I had it on. Sorry. Jesus. Oh, my Instagram fucking people. All right. Kids start school tomorrow too. I should probably get off here and get some rest. Anyways, coincidence? She comes in on the 5th, right? So we figured there's a business day that's burned. Garland's been sitting on that approval for weeks. They say weeks. How many weeks? We don't know. On the 8th, he submits it to Reinhardt. Reinhardt, who recused himself, now all of a sudden, he's cool with signing off on this warrant. This warrant that is just way too much, it's got way too broad of a spectrum on it. It's basically saying that the FBI can go in and take whatever they want, which is why they're in Melania's wardrobe and, and they knew where the documents were. They'd already been there. They'd already gotten them. They had already been allowed access to get what they wanted. Trump was like, here, 3 of them showed up. He took them down. I mean, even his attorneys went and let these fuckers go in. They got to go. I mean, he's like, here. It's not like he's hiding anything. They ask him to put the lock on. He puts the lock on. Then boom, they'd show up with 30 fucking agents, and they spend 9 hours in his house. Now, I don't care what you think about Trump. It doesn't matter. This is an ex-president of the United States who's been cooperating with the DOJ on this whole thing. He's declassified all these documents anyhow. And the president is the one that has the right to do that. When they ask, he says, come get it, whatever you want. There was no reason that they had to show up like that. There's no reason why they didn't just, get on the phone with his attorneys or whatever route they go through and say, hey, we want to come have another look in there. Maybe we didn't find what we were looking for before. We want to look through some of these other boxes. He'd already told them, fine. It's just kind of weird that, the Speaker of the House goes and tries to start World War III, gets back, let's say, the night of the 5th, the warrant signed on the 8th, and then they don't serve the warrant on the 8th. No. Or on the 5th, I'm sorry. They go on the 8th. My bad, I had that backwards. Sorry, I'm just going off the playbook in my mind. So the warrant is signed by Reinhardt on the 5th. The FBI goes in Monday morning, the 8th. They let it go the whole weekend. They go in, they spend 9 hours. They know where the room is. They've been in the room. They asked him to put a lock on it. Another lock, a secondary lock. They know where the room is. But why do they go through Melania's shit? Why do they go through the whole house? They go through all sorts of shit in there, and they spend 9 hours. Now, how's 30 people going to take 9 hours? They could have gone in there and cleared out every single box in that room, taken it and jammed out, and they could have called and asked for permission, and it would have been granted. Trump said, put it out there. They don't want to do it because guess what? They said, and I'm trying to remember the terminology, but they said it would be detrimental to the country if they were to release the warrant, if they were to release the affidavit, and if the American people were to see what was on that warrant, that it would be detrimental to the country. Now, doesn't that make you wonder how trustworthy are these people? I'm telling you what. You want to talk about everybody these idiots that were yelling about defund the police? Well, and of course then they turned that around to be on the Republicans. With their no bail policy, and you got that sex offender that smashes that guy the other day, and right there in the camera, just picks him off. I mean, that's like the ultimate sucker punch I think I've ever seen. And that poor gentleman that got smashed, he didn't do nothing. Guess what? He's in the hospital. He's gonna have brain surgery. He's got a brain injury. He's got a fucking skull fracture. He's not gonna be right. He's gonna have to go through all kinds of therapy. He'll probably never be right again. And that guy, he goes into they take him in, and they turn him out with a misdemeanor and no bail. And then that Hochul, or whatever her name is, that governor, she realizes that there's all kinds of backlash coming in. She gets up there and grandstands. Well, he's back in custody, and that's because of me. I did that because I want to protect our citizens. No, you didn't. You did it because you're grandstanding and you realized that it was a political move to make because your policies let that guy out. And he shouldn't have been out on parole anyways. The dude's a rapist. I don't care what you say. A rapist? If you're a rapo, guess what? Welcome to the rest of your life in prison. And have fun getting raped. There's no reason that a rapo should be out there walking around, period. You do that shit, guess what? Bye. Toodaloo. Same with child molesters. There's one in Casper I just read about the other day. Dude got, God, it was the most ridiculous sentence. I mean, if you're a child molester, if you're caught with CP, bye. I used to catch that from my case manager all the time, I'd get called back. She'd be like, why are you so nasty with these sex offenders and blah blah blah. I'm like, it's like most of them never even touched a kid. They just had the CP. And I'm like, here's the deal. The CP, and I'd tell her, I said, listen, every one of those images is a child's ruined life. And I was like, and these cats come in here and get 18 to 24 months. They've got the highest recidivism rate there is. And then they go right back out and they reoffend. They do it again. So this cat, when he gets out, after he bashes that guy upside the head, which, like Tyra said, that's attempted murder. I mean, he sat there and gloved up. That dude's standing there. He's not even looking at that guy. He just fucking hauls off and just wham. Do you know what happens if I do that to somebody? It's not good. I mean, I'm not what I used to be, but I can still throw a pretty decent fastball. And I tell you what, the last one I was in was one punch, and the cops asked me how many times I hit the guy, and I said once, and he started laughing. He goes, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "No, I'm not kidding you." I said, "I let him hit me twice. I told him not to do it a third time." This guy just, if I were to do something like that to somebody from behind without him looking, that's attempted murder. And this guy, he might not even make it out of the weeds. He's still in the weeds. This poor guy, he's sitting there. Who knows how many people that, I don't know anything about the guy. I should look into it. I don't know if he's a father, if he's got kids. And then think about what the family's going through. And you let this guy out on the street, and then you're going to grandstand and say, oh, you put him back in jail after you let him out with no bail on a misdemeanor charge for doing what he did. I don't know if have you guys seen the footage of this? I don't know if you have. Maybe, I'm sure you have, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad shit. It's not good. Like, really not good. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see if we can find it. I don't really even want to show it, but it's bad. And this dude is he's on parole for life, right? He's on parole for life. And shouldn't even be, really shouldn't even be out of prison, to tell you the truth. I'm going to pull this up here. Let's see if we can find it. There's a footage of it right there. Good. I'm just going to. All right, I'm just watch. Look at the guy. He's just look at that piece of crap. Oh, here we go. Here, look at this. Wham. That dude's just standing there. He's standing there. Look at this shit. And they let him back out. They haul him in. They get him with a misdemeanor. Watch this. Look at that. Look at this guy. This dude ain't done nothing to anybody. Look at this shit. Watch it again here. Look at this. Look at that. Are you kidding me? I hope wherever they got this fool at, I hope somebody is on his ass. They need to be booking him straight up. That dude needs to be, look at that. Why does he do this? Because he's a sick fucking psychopath. This is fucking insanity. I mean, come on. Yeah, this is the world we live in. You got these idiots. People are, you got dudes pushing people in front of trains and shit. I mean, the crime in this country is crazy, It's absolutely out of hand. And then these people are just going in and they're getting right back out. And you wonder why the cops don't want to do nothing about it? And then you can't even find most of these stories, like anything that doesn't, that doesn't suit the narrative. They just, you can't see anything about it. It's like me trying to look up the shit about that Albert Bourla. Nothing. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's just, and it's got to stop, It's just crazy. I mean, you've got a lot of violence going on against Asian people right now. I mean, and you bring that up, I bring that up and there's nothing that, it's like, what comes up? Nothing really. Nothing. I mean, all I can find, I know it's up like 75% violence against Asian people. Up 75. What did Asian people ever do to you? For fuck's sake. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any Asian people that have, any kind of, they don't have mean bone in their body. I don't know. I mean, every Asian cat I know is cool as, cool as Breeze, like Johnny Breeze. What's up, Johnny Breeze? I'd like to see that cat again. Good dude there. Good dude for sure. But anyways, I don't know. That's where we're at, I guess, for tonight. I had some more stuff on the list. But we'll probably get into that maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I'm looking at a few note cards here, and I think that's about it. So on that note, I don't know. Be good or be good at it. In all things, be kind. And do no harm. And if you do, try and fix it. I'm out. Y'all have a good morning and enjoy your Monday. Don't have a case of the Mondays.
Up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.